Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Welcome into another Red Out Podcast. I'm Jake.
Devin in the house, and we got Ross here tonight. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, guys. Doing good.
So, Ross has got to go real quick, so we're going to try and speed things along just a little bit. Winners, losers. First off, we're all three Thrones fans. We're Game of Thrones fans. So, Game of Thrones fans, winners. Just saying.
I said winners, but I also said losers.
Well,
because how in the world are they going to top that episode?
They're going to.
Well, good luck.
I don't think it's going to be this next week, but I think episode 5 will be the topper.
So we got 3 episodes left, right?
Yep.
Yes.
4, 5, and 6.
So you're guaranteed at least one build-up episode.
Yeah. So
the question is it going to be build-up, battle, or build-up, battle, fallout?
Yes.
Or build-up, battle into the show?
Yeah, I think it's going to be build-up, battle, and then epilogue, fallout, whatever. That's my prediction.
I would like for it to happen that way because we could have a sense of closure, but they have said they're doing a spin-off show.
Oh, are they really?
In a couple of years. It's going to be a while.
Okay.
I have no idea who's producing it, whatever is going on. So I'm kind of terrified that they're not going to resolve everything.
I can't wait. I'm going to be excited.
I think they're going to resolve it and do it.
I mean, just think about this. I just saw when I was waiting for Game of Thrones Deadwood, they're making that movie and they're putting it out at the end of the month. I mean,
oh yeah, they're also supposed to do a Game of Thrones movie according to
years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Deadwood was good.
See, my wife and I are going back and watching that, and I don't know. Deadwood's okay. I just get annoyed at the saloon owner guy. I'm like, just shoot him.
How's Worthington's the best?
I mean, he is the best, but I'm just like, all these problems could be solved just by shooting him.
Yeah.
Another one of my winners is the high school kid that won the world record for the 100-meter. Little white dude.
Is that what you were showing?
That's what I was showing you.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
What was it, a 9.8 or 9.69 meter, 100 meter? Yeah. That's just amazing to me.
That's pretty crazy. My winner is anybody that's invested in like Disney because the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes so much stupid money. Like, you won't spoil that one either, but you guys need to go see it before it gets spoiled, because...
If you could go back in time, no spoilers, if you could go back in time and invest into it... No spoilers. If you could go back in time and invest in it, it would be the greatest thing.
Buy some Disney stock? Absolutely,
yes.
Dude.
Apple and Disney, you'd be set.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess Jake and I kind of are sharing a winner-loser here with UK fans.
I think they're all a bunch of losers,
and,
generally, but definitely this week.
Well... And Cal, the story coming out of the LA Times, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. A lot of UK fans are denying it, but
LA Times is a reputable paper, man.
The loser for me in this is that UK fans sound like the jilted lover or the spouse that doesn't believe that their spouse would cheat.
Yeah,
they're like, when did he have time?
What did I miss on that today?
So that was Tuesday?
So this week, essentially, what they found, or what the LA Times came out and said, after talking to some people on the UCLA side, is that they were initially painted as being, like, stupid and inept, and not really, like, Cal was just like, screw off. But what it actually was, there was some quote, negotiation that went on. Cal had a list of demands, his agent made it. His agent acted as the intermediary and like made this list of demands, some of which being ridiculous, like a weekly catered meal, and like all this monthly catered meal, and all this kind of like prima donna stuff.
Yeah.
And
of course, he did have less pay than what he ended up with at Kentucky.
But what the interesting thing is like that narrative, right?
Yes.
That initially they were like these bumbling idiots, and like how are they going to swing at Cal with less than 20 or however many $1 million?
They had donors lined up too, which was another crazy thing.
Yeah, this was a serious attempt, and not only that, but Cal did not just brush it under the rug; that he actually negotiated a little bit, which is kind of hilarious for all the UK homers out there that were like, Cal never leave, man. He loves Kentucky. Let me explain something to you.
I like how you just went at Matt Jones.
Not one of these... Dude, I think Matt Jones is funny.
And well, he actually is fine with it.
Because he's a realist, right? Yes. And that's what you have to be in this. Is that any coach... If you think any coach in this game is going to choose your job when paid significantly more money to go somewhere else, you are high. Now, granted, the UCLA wasn't offering a significant amount of money. In fact,
No.
they were on the lower side
Yes.
initially. But it's like the Braum situation. It's like anything. Anybody going like if Purdue thinks that Braum is going to hang around for less money, if LSU or Alabama or somebody who can swing $8 million comes calling, you're hiring a kite.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, and I like that you used.
Also, after Cal, it has to feel good to be appreciated, and that's what I mean. At the end of the day, it stroked his ego and got their fans saying, "Oh, well, maybe he has succeeded. He could lose the ball, but now he's got,
lifetime contract.
They kept him, and that got him back to where he was. It eliminated those underachieving talks pretty much instantly. So
well, and that was I like that Jake used the Braum thing, because if he left Kentucky and went to UCLA, it would have essentially been just like Braum. He would have left the program that he had, quote, built up a little bit,
resurrected,
and then he would be trying to do that again. And I don't, at Cal's age, I don't see that happening.
The only thing that's different is, Kentucky is a top 2 or 3 job in college basketball, if not the top job, and UCLA is historically one of the best, but it's not as good as Kentucky is. It's just not.
They're not even on the same.
Louisville Western fan.
Yeah, they're not even on the same game.
And that's funny too, because and they've got Cal. Of course, he says everything, and you can't really believe it. But they said that Cal said that Kentucky was a 10-year job at most. Of course, he's been here 10 years now.
I mean,
just FYI,
he's not a young cat.
Like, no.
Cats fan.
Cats fan. But
Cates,
anyway,
with a Y. UTS.
Cates.
Cates.
But anyway, but no, Cal. That's the thing too. Is if he did go to like UCLA or somewhere else, it would be because he's trying to get away from the UK fans.
Yeah, right.
They're honestly, Big Blue Nation can be the biggest pain in the rear ever was. And that's a god honest truth.
That's
why
that's just
I
how
hate
it is. Kentucky. I don't have anything against the school.
If you're going to do that, you go to a job that it's like Shaka Smart at Texas. Like, you go to a job where you have all the resources in the world, but there isn't pressure. There's going to be tons of pressure at UCLA anyway. So
nobody gives a damn. It's LA.
Well, it's UCLA. Yeah, you're right. It's in LA.
Nobody's paying attention.
So they got the Lakers. They got how many other sports teams there. It takes a year to drive across town. I mean, that kind of stuff and whatever.
Yeah. So what's next?
I've got a couple of winners and losers real quick.
Yeah, go for it, Ross.
I guess you guys touched on this last week, but Nashville kicking butt with the NFL draft.
For sure.
I mean, just almost single-handedly outdrawing the last 3.
Combined.
That's pretty awesome. I don't understand the appeal of going. I think it'd be cool to go maybe on Friday or Saturday, but I mean, kudos to any of those people who wanted to stand in that giant crowd.
Yeah, buddy, I'm not about it.
No.
And then quick loser, I guess Kentucky Derby losing Omaha Beach today.
Devin told me to scratch right when I got here, and also Kentucky Derby goers.
The favorite's out, and this means I guess there'll be a new favorite, but the chances of the favorite winning for the 7th year in a row it went down substantially. So there might be some better parity in the race as well.
Is the number 2 going to be? Was that Tacitus or who was it? Do you remember who was the number 2 line favorite?
I do not remember.
I can't remember. It was either Game Winner or Tacitus. Was one. I was I can't remember. I
don't follow that. Honestly.
I follow it this week.
I was going to say
I think everybody follows it. If you're from this area in Louisville and stuff, everybody follows it for 1 week or the week before.
It's literally a week. Like Ross, you listen to the same radio shows. They're following it, and that's pretty much all I got.
And that's what kills me.
And then you follow. Okay, can they win the Preakness? If they win the Preakness, it goes on. It's a fun little novel thing when some people. Besides baseball, there's not a lot of other sports going on. So it's a good thing to follow, especially this is the capital of the sport. So.
And boy, does it make a bunch of money.
Yeah, and of course it's crazy how Louisville just shuts down.
Dude, all the surrounding counties too, they're out here Friday for Oaks, man.
I gotta work Saturday.
You guys in Hardin County are off Friday?
Yes, my wife.
I'm not.
Well, the schools are. They let the schools out for Oaks. Yeah,
right. I'm never off for the stupid stuff like that. But
anyway. I mean, I'm going to work on Friday too, buddy.
But no,
I live in town. I'm going to work. But yeah, it's cool when you step off the plane. They give you bourbon balls and go through the airport. I mean, it's a big deal here, and that's kind of a cool thing.
See, we grew up in Southern around Bowling Green, and I just don't feel like it was that big a deal.
It really wasn't. I mean, I heard people having derby parties, but it was
it
very
was
much
like, you're a weirdo.
Well, not only that, but it was like, you know how Bowling Green has this like hilariously like hoity-toity high society. I put in quotes because they're small fish.
Yes.
Except for some of that Houch's money. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a couple millionaires down there that got some cash flow.
For the most part, no.
Yeah, so you got like these guys, you know, the Elpos of the world. Like, they're having these derby parties and whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, dude, like, we'll turn it on. Like, well, shit, like, I had... This is how much I didn't care about the derby. I had my bachelor party derby weekend, and we went to the mountains to get away from Louisville so I'd have to deal with it. But... I mean, I turned it on that Saturday afternoon, or that Saturday during the day. Like, I turned it on for however many minutes, but it was mostly, it was background noise with the local coverage, and then watch the race, and then, oh, cool.
Yeah, see, I was like,
have I been? No. My wife has been once. She worked it for high school, and that was it.
My mom asked me, she's like, what's the cheapest tickets that you can sit down?
You can get the 40 to sit down?
$389 at Unchecked.
Yeah.
And that's what she was like, oh, so we need to, like, set aside some cash next year.
The infield's like a mix between, you know, people dressing nice and inside of a NASCAR infield.
Yeah.
And then the stands are everybody, you know. I think it's you know, being a Louisvillian and everything else, it's definitely worth checking out the infield at least once and then probably doing a big one here once. But, I mean, it's just cool. It's a fun experience, and I mean, even if you can't afford the Derby, it's very similar. So
yeah, that's one of the things where I've told people, it's like, I want to go. I will go when I can buy a seat, when I can afford a seat. Not quite there where I want to drop $1,000 to go, but one day I will do that.
I think that's kind of a bucket list thing. You go,
it is,
and you do that, and you say, I've been.
Well, especially when you live in Kentucky,
and then you pray that the weather's decent that year,
which it will not be this year. Which is why I said the goers were losers before I found out about the scratch. I was like, it's gonna piss poor rain all day Saturday. It's gonna stink.
Okay, so I randomly have the odds for the racers. Let's see, I got 5-1 for Roadster, 5-1 for Improbable. Those are the
Tacitus was 8-1, so he was number 4 prior to this. So as far as the morning line odds,
and those odds are going to change completely since Omaha Beach is out of there.
Yeah, but it looks like 5-1 and 5-1 were Roadster and Improbable.
Yeah.
Which I had heard Improbable was.
Now I'm trying to figure out which one's next.
Which one's
is 9-2 better than? Yeah, no.
Then what?
Is that would be the next one?
After 5-1,
yeah,
probably. And
then no. We got 8. We got 8.
9-2 is pretty much 4.5 to 1. So,
oh, okay. So that actually game winner is actually better.
Favorite. Yeah, game winner's your favorite currently. Which I had again.
If you win, guys, just send us some money.
Yeah, right.
We'll make you sponsor. But anyway, randomly just scrolling through Twitter here, they're reporting at 24/7 Sports that the NCAA may require coaches to release official player injury reports prior to game.
Go Vegas.
Is that in football or isn't that in...
Well, it's a picture of a football player.
I would say probably football, yeah.
Okay.
That's where your betting's going to be, so yeah. I mean, that's what it's about.
I would assume...
That's the pressure.
Yeah, football gambling injury report, yeah.
Yeah, that's your pressure.
to me, that's just the NCAA. I'm not one who's usually to rail against them, but what's the point of that?
Hey, I'm fine with that.
Why are you placating towards gamblers? Like, you know, when it's amateur athletes, amateur in quotation marks.
Yeah, amateur in quotation marks.
I think you answered that with your quotation marks because it's not. It makes a crap ton of money.
I understand, but like, I don't understand what's their justification of doing that.
Well, I mean, it's like you said. I think with them expanding the gambling, I think it's going to come to it. People are going to want to know. And first off, I like it as far as, you know, covering sports, because then you can say, well, for instance, K1 Jakes is not going to play because he sucks and his knee's messed up or whatever. You know.
I mean, I already had injury report websites, but having official stuff, you know, would be, you know, I always ran the game preview every week or the game day like information, and yeah, that stuff would be cool.
Well, until you have something actually come out on IR, you don't know. I mean, how many times have they been like, okay, you know, Duncan's going to start this week. Oh, actually, you know what? He tweaked his foot Friday night, so he's not going to start, actually.
Of course,
you don't know that till you start the game.
That can mess with coaches, too, on game planning.
That's the only reason. That's legit the only... He didn't hurt his foot Friday.
No.
He hurt his foot Tuesday.
Yeah.
And you've kept it under wraps because you don't want the other team to know. Okay, fine, fair enough. But, I don't know. Bring me the money. I do not care. I like more information better than not, so props to the NCAA for actually bowing to reality.
Okay, so what is it? I know all the listeners. This is bad radio, but what is it about retiring cops that look like bulldogs? Like they always look like they skipped leg day.
Because they did skip leg day.
Yes,
that's why. Because they did skip leg day. They do a bunch of push-ups and a bunch of bench presses and eat donuts. That's why.
I'm not going to mention who it is, but that's just that's just what I see, and I'm like, really?
So Ross, do you have a softball and baseball update for us?
Yep. I'll start with baseball. I went to my first WKU baseball game of the year. Probably my only one yesterday.
The Louisville game?
The Louisville game. We'll rewind to last weekend. They took 2 of 3 against UTSA, which was clutch.
Yep.
UTSA, I think, is directly behind them in the Conference USA standings. So they did great there. Basically, they've got 3 series left, and against Rice, Louisiana Tech, and Old Dominion, which are 3 of the better teams in the league. So that the Louisville game yesterday, was pretty much inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but their pitching sucks. We know their pitching sucks, especially against a good team like that. They gave up 11 runs and just couldn't throw strikes.
Ross,
but
don't talk about the pitching. Shh. Gosh, you can't attack people.
I'll give them some credit this weekend, or last weekend. They did hold UTSA to 2 runs and 3 runs in 2 of their games. They did give up 17 in another game, but...
Yeah. Bless their heart. Sometimes you have off day, Ross. That happens.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Ross. Jeez.
Based on the math, so they're 11-9-1. The teams behind them in the standings, they're in sole possession of 5th. And... they have to finish in the top 8. I'd say, they've got 9 more conference games left. They need to win at least 4 of those 9 to make the Conference USA tournament. So
what's your probability of them winning those?
Probability of getting in and Pulaski keeping his job and everything else, I'll put it at 40%.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Could be worse.
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly figured you were going to say like 15 or 10.
Yeah.
No, I mean their bats can play with anybody. They've got a lot of injuries, unfortunately, but I mean as long as Jake Sanford stays healthy and they battle, and I'll give them that. So like I said, I think against Rice and Louisiana Tech, you steal 1 of each of those, and you win 2 or 3 against ODU, and that's your 4 out of 9. So.
Okay. Have you talked about softball yet? I'm sorry.
No, I'll do a quick softball.
I was going to say, I was too busy giving you grief about giving people grief, so.
So, softball traveled to Monroe after the unfortunate tornado, and I don't know if Louisiana Tech played inspired based on the tragic event or whatever, but basically WKU softball got manhandled all weekend. They got swept against probably their toughest competition in the conference, and they went from being projected into the NCAA field as a 3 seed by Softball America to on the bubble and out as of right now. So
wow,
not a good look this weekend. Or this past weekend. They can rebound. They have pitching, but their stellar pitching has kind of gone by the wayside lately. They are in the middle of a game against Murray State, the Mules. They're up 4-0 in the 5th, so they're going to bounce back, and then they have their regular season finale before the conference tournament this weekend as they host the Roadrunners of UTSA. So, get back on track, probably finish with a 2 seed or whatever in the conference tournament, and go out and win the dang thing. So
that's right.
Good.
Let's throw a little bit of a curveball. Let's do our Munch Madness real quick.
Yeah, because I want to get Ross's take on it.
Where you want to go?
Hey, by the way, I was very happy that my one nominee pulled through last week as a 4 seed.
What,
Yes,
jerky?
jerky.
Baby.
Yes.
Yeah, you and Devin were on the jerky train, man.
Yes,
On the jerky
yes.
train, which sounds really weird.
That sounds really
Anyways,
homo, but anyway.
whatever. Spicy, I think, is what we're gonna do.
Okay,
this,
that sounds
this
good.
round. So, in the top of the spicy bracket, we got the number 1 seed, spicy nacho Doritos, which are amazing.
Yes.
Versus
The cousin,
yeah,
Blazing Buffalo Ranch Doritos.
which are also amazing. And then we've got Flamin' Hot Cheetos versus jalapeno kettle chips.
Okay.
This is the strongest bracket.
Since Ross hasn't voted in this yet, what do you got for the 1 versus 4 spicy nacho Doritos versus blazing Buffalo Ranch Doritos?
I'm a huge spicy guy. I'll crush a whole bag of that stuff if I'm going to a gas station. So, I'll go with the 1 seed. I mean,
Okay.
that's a newer one. I mean,
Okay.
The hotter the better. I think with the Buffalo Ranch ones, you get sometimes those milder chips.
Okay.
It doesn't have all the coating on there. But with the blazing hot ones, you're gonna just get straight fire the whole time. So deal me in on that.
Okay. I'm going to go with the 4 seed, the Blazing Buffalo Ranch Doritos, because at Jake's bachelor party, I basically sat and drank and almost killed an entire bag of those.
Dude,
They were
I had
those are
multiple
delicious.
bags of those because
They're like crack.
they're so
They're really good.
And I have to say, I also am going with Devin on the Blazing Buffalo Ranch. That is my absolute
gosh.
favorite chip on the market. I absolutely love those things.
So the 4
Did
seed
you
moves
see
on.
this tournament?
Yes, Jake did see
I
this.
did, but
and
I
the 4
thought
wins.
Spicy Nacho was more popular than the Blazing Buffalo Ranch, so that's why I put it
Evidently.
there. That's why I put Spicy Nacho as the 1. I wasn't gonna put all my favorites as the 1. That's like I put Reese Cups as the overall 1.
Well, Reese
because-
Cups has to be an overall 1.
But
though.
that's
We've
but I
covered that.
don't actually like them that much.
Actually,
But-
Ross, you voted in those.
He
didn't
did, yeah,
you?
he
I'm
did the first
sorry.
one, yeah.
I said you hadn't voted. Yeah, okay.
yeah, he helped us
I
carry.
voted the first one. I didn't vote last week.
Yes.
Yeah, last week was
Yeah, it was Jared's Bailey's Irish Cream, which God. But anyway, so let's go in reverse order. We'll do snake order this. Jake, what do you got for Flamin' Hot Cheetos or jalapeno kettle chips?
I gotta go with the Cheetos, man. I love the kettle chips. I really do. They're really good. The classic taste. They're some of them are even like really they got the super crunch. Some of them you can get like Ross was talking about some that don't have very much seasoning on them, but sometimes you like that Miss Vicky's. You get that like folded
Yes.
over one at the bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
It tastes like you're like mainlining like jalapenos, and it's really good. But
So
the
you're-
Flamin' Hot Cheetos are so they're
Yes,
just
yes.
they're just epically classic and so
Yes.
good. And I don't know what it is about the Flamin' Hot Cheetos, but they're better than the Flamin' Hot Dorito.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why they're like not as hot every time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos are where it's at.
So I'm gonna go with you with the Flamin' Hot Cheetos because as a child, I mean it's the same thing basically. I used to eat hot fries.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which
like hot
they're
dogs, yeah.
basically the
Very
same
similar.
thing.
Very similar.
I
Different
used-
consistency, but
That's
pretty
what
much
I would
same.
eat as a kid. I would pour sweat eating hot fries.
Dude, Andy's hot fries are good though.
And drinking RC.
That is
which,
a strong honorable mention.
That's a very good combination, though.
Yeah. Are you going to make it unanimous, Ross?
Yes. What do you got,
Oh
Ross?
yeah, easy unanimous.
All right. So we've got number 4, the lowest seed, Blazing Buffalo Ranch Doritos.
Takes on the
versus
number 2 seed.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos. What do you
Yes.
think, Ross?
Flamin' Hot Cheetos, baby.
Yep. I'm going Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I will dissent because I just love them that much, but
So
I won't
you-
dissent too strongly because I do get it.
Yeah.
Like it's like with the Reese's. Right?
Also,
Yeah.
we got to put it this way. How long have those Blazing Buffalo things been around? Maybe like
That's true.
5 or 6 years?
Yeah, it's only been like
That's
5 or 6
true.
years.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos have been a staple for at least 20 years.
Oh, dude, yeah,
So
they were like one of the
something
very first like real spicy like
They're a
chip products you could
cornerstone
get. Yeah.
to the spicy market.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
If I had to, I would
So-
bet they were one of the ones that like got it started. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, in chips because they've been around long. I can't think of any like potato chip that's hot that's been around as long as them.
Like hot fries, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, yes.
They've been around.
Which, by the way, we've got a 1 seed facing a 2 seed in Flamin' Hot Cheetos and Reese Cups. Which,
Oh,
good
bruh.
God.
That's polar opposite, man.
Yes, they are, which is going to be crazy
It's
for
gonna
for
be
us.
fun, and then we're gonna have
Uh,
jerky versus whatever comes out.
Yeah, it comes out of the nacho cheese Doritos, which, by the way, apparently Jake loves Doritos.
dude, Doritos are the best chips. You guys can eat it. Like, I'm sorry, they are.
Straight Cheese Whiz, which, by the way...
Like 6 of y'all mentioned. I'm sorry. Like everybody in the Discord was like, Cheese Whiz, Cheese Whiz, Cheese Whiz. I was like, y'all ain't even saying Cheese Whiz on crackers. You're just saying Cheese Whiz. It's like,
Oh
okay,
my
that's
gosh.
fine. Because I'm just imagining all of you with like like just double fisted straight cheese whiz. It's like that's that's what I put on there, straight cheese whiz.
And then obviously we have the number 2 seed Cheetos versus Goldfish, which by the way, spoiler alert, guys, I'm going Cheetos on that one.
The Goldfish are good.
Goldfish are good, but Cheetos are amazing.
We'll deal with that next week.
Yes. Sounds like somebody just unplugged.
Yeah, right. I don't know what that was.
That's my mouse is messed up, so I have to unplug and plug it sometime.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So Jake, I guess if you would like, do you want to talk a little bit about the legal stuff that the NCAA has been going through?
I can. And Ross, you can dip whenever you need to, man.
Yeah, I've probably got about 10 more minutes left until I can put the little one to bed. So I'll get in some takes here.
Yeah, because if you guys have your head in the sand, I don't know, maybe you're not paying attention, but there is a big case going on right now that involves NCAA men's basketball and a little bit of college football. You may recall that in 2018 there were allegations that there were payments made illegally to, or like payments made in violation of NCAA rules and bribes accepted by people illegally concerning the men's basketball at a bunch of schools. It kind of got kicked off with Brian Bowen at Louisville, but then a whole bunch of more stuff came out. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of the like legalese or the history side of it. I know some people are confused about like what actually illegal has happened because like, well, paying players isn't illegal.
First off, this is what always trips people up on this, and I know you know more than I do, but there's things that are happening that the NCAA says is wrong, and then there's things that the law says is illegal.
Correct.
So
and
isn't a lot of it tax evasion?
No, so it's not tax evasion. It's mostly bribery.
Yes.
So there's bribery and there's a few other things. So there have been several people already sentenced who have already taken their plea deals. There's been a Clemson coach that got a former Clemson coach that got in some hot water. You got the former Adidas rep Michael Gotti, who's going to do a little bit of time or at least pay a big fine. And then you got Christian Dawkins, who has conceded on some stuff and is fighting some other things, and that's the most recent thing that we'll get to. But essentially what the FBI, that Devin is exactly right, there are two sides to this. One of it is there were crimes allegedly committed, and the FBI is going after people on that, right? They're going after bribery, wire fraud, that sort of thing. The other side of that...
Okay, so one more thing.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name that's reporting a lot of this on Twitter?
There's several guys...
Matt Norlander.
So
right?
Matt Norlander is doing a lot of it. His Twitter's been really good. He wasn't at the trial today, so his Twitter today's not been very good. The other guys that I recommend you all look at are Dan Wetzel, Pat Forty, and Pete Thamel of Yahoo. They're doing some of the best investigative journalism on this. Yeah, Matt Norlander's top tweet is about the Virginia stuff.
Yeah,
which is it's an interesting story.
But go ahead, sorry.
But yeah,
it's his pen tweet. Man.
Yeah, it's his pen tweet. Yeah, but he's got a lot of good stuff on his Twitter, and then also Yahoo Sports has got a lot of stuff. Again, Pete Thamel, Dan Wetzel, and Pat Forty. They're some pretty good journalists. They're actually like writing stuff, so you can go back and especially Pat Forty being in Louisville, like he covered. He was on the forefront of it, so he did a really good job. But yeah, so there's the illegal side of it, and then there's the NCAA side of it. Just because something is an NCAA violation does not make it illegal. There's lots of stuff that's happening that the NCAA says you can't do, the FBI does not give a darn about. Like, they do not care about amateurism whatsoever.
But yeah, and that's kind of the thing that I've understood, is that it's not necessarily the schools that passed pass the money straight to the kids. It's the ones that, for the FBI side, it's the schools that the coaches ended up taking the money. It's in trouble with the FBI side. Now,
right.
The NCAA is going after the kids that actually kept the money.
There's been no kids that they're going after.
Okay.
It's not none of the players have been alleged to have committed any crimes because the players have not been they haven't been found guilty of like bribing, of being bribed, right?
Okay.
So the illegality here, and what is a lot of the confusion, is these agents, Christian Dawkins, Merle Code, some of these guys, they were either working for Adidas or Nike, or in the case of Merle Code, he worked for both of them at like different points in his career, which should be the scary thing for the non-Adidas schools, because it's not just Adidas. Like
we originally thought,
the initial thing was a bunch of Adidas stuff, but there's a bunch of Nike stuff too now. And what they were doing was they were offering cash to assistant coaches That was a cash payment to the coach to encourage them to then do like NCAA violations to steer these players, once they went pro, to certain agents, whether those were financial guys, whether those were...
to me, it's just like, okay, we're going to steer this, and it's our lottery ticket, and they're steering to these big brands that they think they can have some control over. I mean, to me, this whole scandal is about basically it exposed the underbelly that probably most people thought would happen, but now here's some more definitive proof of exactly how the sausage was made.
Dude, absolutely. And what's crazy today? So that's in a nutshell what's happening. But the crazy stuff is today, right? Because up until today, there's been, or like this last week, there's been some testimony. There's been a couple of there's been some evidence provided that some assistant coaches or like some of these like small like rogue people were paying players. But today, there's direct testimony and wiretaps that were played in court that allege that Sean Miller of Arizona was paying DeAndre Ayton, $10,000 a month.
Good gosh.
$10K a month to come to Arizona.
Wow.
And then there's some other stuff that alleges that Will Wade may have been paying as much as $300,000 for some kids.
My gosh.
Yeah, and by the way, these guys are still employed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, that's my question. Well, I got two questions for you, Jake.
Okay.
But we'll first start with the immediate thing you spoke about. Yeah, how did those schools, once all this is done and shaken out, how do they justify keeping these guys?
Well, so I think it's a couple of things. I think one is, unless Sean Miller is convicted, or unless the testimony that they're providing and that. Because not to get too.
If it's still a hearsay until they have like.
So I don't want to use the term hearsay because that's kind of a misnomer. Everybody says that like hearsay is like something outside of court. There's a very particular legal definition of the admissibility of hearsay, and that's I'm not going to get into that. But essentially, there's two layers of evidence that are presented today. There's wiretaps, right? Now they don't have Sean Miller on tape. That's a key thing. They don't have direct evidence, but you do not need direct evidence to convict someone.
But is he named, I guess,
absolutely,
in the taps
yeah. So one of them was an assistant coach talking to Dawkins saying, oh yeah, have you heard what Sean's paying, what Sean Miller's paying this kid? You know how much, there's some expletives involved, so,
He's effing blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, seriously. And so, and playing that in court, which is funny, because they don't edit them,
Well, obviously not, yeah.
Because they want the full thing. So, yeah, he's paying him, he's like, oh, well, no, I don't know. How much is he buying Ayton for? He's like, 10, man. And then they interviewed him what did you mean 10 to mean? What do you believe that means? He's like, $10K a month. That's what it was. That was the deal.
$10, 10 pizzas, 10
right?
hoes.
Well, it's just like that Will Wade. Come at him with strong ass offers, talking to a bag man, and they're like, oh, well, he could have meant a scholarship or playing time. No, you don't tell a bag man that the strong ass offer is a no. He's saying he's going to hand you a knapsack full of $30K. That's
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, can Arizona and LSU just claim that the witness or whoever
is lying? Yeah. So there's this. So here's what they're doing, and it's. I mean, and I don't necessarily blame them until the allegations come down because it's not from the NCAA, which will take a year. Unless you have, just because these other two guys might get convicted of accepting bribes, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that Sean Miller took those bribes. Now, if the court finds that not only were these assistants, and because this is his assistant is talking about this with these agents, with these kind of rogue guys, but if they find that he himself took these bribes, or they find they accept as fact in court as part of the evidence that he was paying this guy, maybe not he was doing anything illegal, but that he was paying these kids, then I think it is difficult for Arizona to say, we don't believe that. This district court in New York has found this to be fact. The jury believes it to be credible.
He's a good Christian man. I don't believe it.
Yeah, is that how?
That's how Arizona people talk.
Yeah, is that how Arizona people talk?
So basically, the thing is to be continued until we.
It is. It is, but the NCAA
with them, right?
Yeah, and it depends on what the NCAA decides to investigate. As I talked about in the Discord, which is the last thing I kind of want to talk about with this, was on Twitter, and this was a Matt Lorlander tweet, that several schools were targeted by Christian Dawkins in an email. He was talking about the schools he was going after. And there was Michigan State, Michigan, Louisville, Arizona, Creighton, and Western was actually named as a school that Christian Dawkins was targeting. Now, There's no evidence to this point that he did anything other than target.
Yes.
And there was no further testimony on when it comes to Western, what that target meant.
Yes.
It didn't say whether they were just a line in the spreadsheet, if he made a phone call to a booster. They don't say anything. But that kind of perked my ears up, as I think it would a lot of people, because I think if you're being, quote, targeted, I think that's more than a line on a spreadsheet. Like, I think if you're going to invest the time to say you were targeting somebody...
There's a crack in the armor.
That you're trying. Yeah, there's definitely a cheating armor, that you're trying something. Now...
I mean, to me, I'm not really worried unless more information comes out.
They're like, Stansbury said, I agree.
Right now it's just an about fact. I mean, okay, well, that probably invites more scrutiny to our program, but... Well, there's a lot of bigger fish on that list before you even get to us. And
luckily enough, most of them, like your Michigan, your Louisville,
Arizona,
these are schools that are big enough to make an example of, but not too big that they hurt the product too much.
Yeah.
That's why, like, there's other testimony that says everybody, all the big dogs are taking care of their players. They've all got resources. North Carolina, Duke, UK, Kansas. That's on record saying that.
Yeah, that's why I'm not really worried about it, because there's one line on a tweet, that was part of a testimony doesn't make me really scared unless Western kept popping back up, which they haven't.
And they haven't, but again, it's only been a week since that testimony, or not even a full week since that testimony came out. My main concern is if they begin to look at schools, right? If the NCAA starts to throw the book at people,
they're going to have a lot of schools to go through.
Well, they do. That's true. But
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, with Western getting Mitchell Robinson and Bassey and everybody else, you don't think they're already being scrutinized? I know they are.
Well,
I mean, look at Ole Miss. They got these big recruits, and they were heavily scrutinized. And so until something comes out, there's no reason to really get worried about it. I don't think.
My thing is, though, with Mitch Robb, if you look at the whole thing with Mitch Robb, we never really got him.
I honestly believe that the reason he left was because illegal stuff fell through.
You think so?
I have thought that since day one. I honestly think that what happened was
with Shamon Williams or
with his handler, that he kind of told Mitch Robb, "Hey, I'm gonna get you a deal.
I'm gonna get you some money.
We're gonna get you paid. You're gonna do your 9 months here, and then you'll go to the league." And then I think when they got to campus,
Stans was like, "No,"
and they were like, No.
You don't get paid for that.
Sorry.
And Stans ran off Shamon Williams.
Right, exactly. So, and I honestly think that's what happened. I think that cat made kind of that proposition to the coach and was like, hey, this is how this game works. And Stans like, no, that's not how this game works, bud.
Exactly.
I honestly think that's what happened. And let's be real. There's still one way to pay these kids. It's legal. And it's exactly what all the schools, Missouri, hell, it's what Western did, and it's you hire a family member, you pay them a salary for their services rendered because he is an assistant coach, and if he wants to give people money after a kid graduates, that's not illegal, it's not against the NCAA code, it will be one day,
but not today.
It's all above board right now, and even if people want to say it's slimy or weird or whatever, I don't care, play the game and win. That's fine.
And you're talking about Shoe, right?
I'm talking about Shoe. I'm talking about Hennessy Artorial.
Any coach who does that is sacrificing, a spot on their bench, a spot
absolutely.
on the support staff, where we don't know how much Oriental really did for the team. He was on the bench every game. He was an assistant coach at Division I Jackson State before he came to Western at one point.
Yeah,
but you don't know how good of a. You don't know how.
You're right.
The margin of having his coaching abilities over a bench coach or whatever. There's trade-offs with that. There's always recruiters, there's always teachers, there's always, organizers, administrator-type coaches. You don't know where he falls in that. So
absolutely.
You're correct.
The trade-off and the sacrifice.
Well, and like you said, it's kind of like this differential trade-off between, okay, what is the value of that salary to him plus Bassey, plus the value of Bassey versus no Bassey, and maybe a marginally better second bench, like assistant coach.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the trade, I think you're probably okay with him. Because, again, I don't know how good he is. Might be excellent, might not be. But regardless, the added value of, maybe that influencing Bassey to come to the school, which you see all the time, like dad coaching your team. That's the team you want to play for.
Yeah.
Godfather or someone who you know and trust and are involved with. That's, even assuming everything's above board and there's no transfer of funds, that's still a benefit. That still makes you more comfortable.
Well, yeah.
Just like anything, So
but there's no benefit to that. You're just comfortable.
Yeah,
that's how I take that.
Like I said, the summation, unless more information in this scandal comes up, I don't think there's anything to worry about until we hear Western's names mentioned. I bet you they're already being scrutinized by the NCAA because good kids aren't supposed to be going to Western. But unless something gets, there's just not something to worry about until it happens, I'd say.
Well, and that's what we're talking about is the worry that Western was mentioned as a school that was targeted, is that that's the whole thing we're talking about.
Yeah, my brain just automatically goes to worst case scenario. I'm just like,
I'm like that too, though, but I don't blame you.
I'm programmed that way, so that's always like jump to the worst thing to prep for it.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong, Ross.
Quick thing before I get off here.
Yeah.
Quick thing before I get off here on a different tangent, similar tangent. Bassey's draft stock. I saw the Athletic posted Sam Vicente.
Uh-huh.
I think he's big NBA draft guru guy.
Yeah, he is.
He had Bassey as the number 56 pick, which is the fourth to last pick.
Oh yeah. He's been
We
dropping like a stone, man.
We still haven't heard if he's gotten a combine invite yet. I mean, I think the chances are if he doesn't get a top level, if he's going to the G League combine, then we can already just assume he's coming back, I would say. But if I asked Brad Stevens at Bowling Green Daily News on Twitter yesterday, when were we going to find out if Bassey gets that? He said, we'll know by the end of the week. If he doesn't get the combine invite, we can really get excited about him potentially coming back.
I mean, all the combine invites are out. It's whether or not he's choosing to tell people. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
they've already invited everybody.
I'm not upset. I'm just
he
saying
doesn't have an invite, honestly. I mean, freaking Kyle Guy got an invite.
I honestly think that he's probably has an invite and just hasn't told anybody. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yep, just selling them chickens. My thing is, though,
You're never gonna.
I'm not worried.
I will laugh at a different publication that jumped the gun if he did get a combine invite. So
I'll just say I'm not sweating it. I've already gone 1 for 1 this week on predictions.
Boy, did you?
Yep, with the Game of Thrones ending of the show.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Just saying, no spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it.
But for real, if you haven't seen it, go pirate it. Go do something. Go watch it.
Watch it.
If you're living under a rock and if you haven't seen the memes.
Yeah, you've got to see the memes by now.
Spoiled.
But
I love the 4 you don't under spoilers with no context memes. Those are real good.
Yes.
My favorite one was episode 3. It was just 4 black panels.
So great.
My favorite meme was the one where it was the fans they're watching the World Cup, and then when the big thing happens, everyone just goes nuts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Because I think everybody did.
Everybody did a little cheer. I did.
Yes, I did too. But I guess we'll let you get out of here, Ross. Looks like the girls did beat Murray 4-1.
Woo!
Cool. What are you guys going to do? Your whatchamacallit things before?
Our boredom busters. Yes, we're going to
boredom buster. I'll give one great podcast before I get off here.
Go for it.
There's a new podcast. I think it's Dan Rubenstein, the guy who does SB Nation. It's called Sports Wars. It's about great rivalries in sports. They just finished their first one. It was 6 episodes. It's about Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre.
Ooh.
It was awesome.
That's kind of cool.
That does sound really good.
It's basically how Favre, they drafted Rodgers and they thought, Favre was going to retire soon, so he's going to groom him for a year. We all know the story. He hung around for 3 years, and Favre retired, unretired, and all that stuff. And it was really interesting. Just it had from basically Favre coming out of Southern Miss and Aaron Rodgers being in middle school to today, and basically how Favre hated Rodgers, and now they're friends because now Rodgers is the old guy who kind of understands what Favre was. It's really good.
And can you give us a name? Was it called Sports Wars?
Sports Wars. I think they're going to do other episodes like Pippen, Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, and Nadal and Federer, and a couple other ones.
I'd like the Nadal and Federer because I feel like they hate each other.
Yeah,
yes, I can see that.
Well, cool, guys. Check it out, and go Tops. I'll be on hopefully next week. So.
Yep.
Thanks, Ross.
Hey, good talking to you, bud. See ya. Oops.
We accidentally
cut him off a little early. I got a little bit carried away with my click.
Yeah,
so, you got your boredom buster?
Yeah, because this week I have since Friday, I was like, literally the only thing I did was go see Avengers Endgame, which was fun. But
for Marvel fans, you should check it out. It's really good.
You should. I mean, if you're a movie fan, of course, they don't spend any time explaining anything.
No.
So if you have not watched Avengers up to this point, don't go see it because you have no clue what's going on.
Well, you can watch it on Netflix. I've seen it on Netflix. The Infinity Wars is on Netflix.
Yeah, and not only that, there's a bunch of stuff online like called Cram It from like Screen Junkies or somebody where they like cram all of the Marvel movies into like an hour-long thing where they go over them so you can like figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
They did the same thing for Game of Thrones. They squished everything.
Did they really?
It was an hour. Usually those things are like...
My wife and I spent, I don't even remember how many days, watching from season 1, episode 1, all the way through, and we finished the last one the Saturday before the first episode this new season.
See, we went back, and like a year and a half ago, when we had like the free HBO Go with our cable, we watched... from season 1, episode 1, all the way to the end of season 7.
Yeah.
Because it had been out, and then had to wait, the next year.
Yeah.
And are now watching this. But yeah, so I went and saw Avengers Endgame, which was a lot of fun, really good. Just make sure to go pee in the first act.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Or like midway through the second, but don't go pee in the third act.
You can definitely go when they do the whole 5 years later.
Yeah, so that thing that you
definitely
go pee.
after
That's
that.
totally fine. Go pee. You're not gonna miss anything. And then the other stuff that I did was, again...
Ross just sent us the link to the Sports Wars podcast.
Oh, awesome, because I definitely want to listen to that.
Yeah, it sounds really
really
good.
cool. It's another thing for when you're mowing, right?
I know, right? Yeah.
Definitely Game of Thrones, because Thrones,
yes.
that's just killing it. Other than that, Boredom Buster stuff, I'm not doing a whole lot, because I'm just, again, I'm in baby watch 2K19.
Yeah, you're getting ready for that baby watch.
Yeah, she's due May 20, so...
So, these are animes I've previously watched. I'm a big anime fan.
Anime's fun.
Like every person our age, we got introduced to anime with Dragon Ball Z.
Yep, that's what
so
it was.
it kind of opened the door for
Dude,
all
Sarah
the other
hates
animes.
Dragon Ball Z, and I told her, you know
oh my
what?
Gosh.
You can hate on Dragon Ball Z, but don't tell me Sailor Moon is good.
Oh my
Because it's
gosh,
also
yes.
garbage. Like,
First
if DBZ's garbage, then Sailor Moon is hotter garbage.
So, first off, greatest thing I've ever seen on that is the Robot Chicken episode, which if you haven't watched Robot Chicken, you should. It's great.
Yeah, it's on Adult Swim.
There's a Robot Chicken episode, or a clip, where Sailor Moon is doing her little transform thing, and the male bad guy, gets an erection. It's hilarious. And he's like, oh my god, this is so unprofessional. Oh my god. And you're like...
Also, that
oh
show
my
is,
gosh.
like... crazy inappropriate. They had to like super censor it when it came over.
Oh, you know, like
it was
Sailor
like
Moon. I think Sailor Moon or one of the other characters was gay.
Well,
she was a lesbian. One of the
was like Jupiter. One of them.
Yeah, one of them was. Yeah, homosexual.
Two of them were supposed to be like lesbians. Essentially.
Yes,
and
then they changed it in the show or whatever.
Until they were like best friends. And there was another thing where like the ages of some of the characters that may or may not have relationships are real off by American standards, but not Japanese.
No, yeah.
But yeah, DBZ was where we all got our start.
Yes, we all got our start. Some good ones to watch are Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist was good.
Full Metal Alchemist, the first one's good. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is even better. So you need to watch the first one and then watch Brotherhood. They're the same story, basically.
Just continuations.
Yes, but they take different diversions.
Oh, that's cool.
So the ending's different, but the beginnings are basically the same. You can watch Seven Deadly Sins. Great show.
I haven't seen that one.
You need to watch that. And then there's another show called Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale is not like you think it is. It's kind of a magic wizard show where they're all wizards, but they all fight each other and they're in different guilds.
Dude, what is it about Japanese anime and like giant battle competitions?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Why is that such? And
that's another one. My Hero Academia is another one.
That was one I'm surprised you didn't have because that one's like really.
I just thought of that when you said
because
battle
like some of these. Like the Full Metal Alchemist is popular, but like it's several years old, so I wouldn't expect. But like the My Hero Academia, that's like really popular right now. Like that's pretty mainstream right now.
And another great one, and these Full Metal, Seven Deadly Sins, My Hero Academia, and the last one, which is Sword Art Online. My wife and I watched together, and she's not a big kind of out there
she's not as much of a nerd as we are.
No, she's not a big nerd. And she enjoyed Sword Art Online, which the premise of the show is that these people who started playing this online video game get stuck in it, and if you die in the video game, you die in real life.
It's an excellent premise.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It's like
Hunger
Video Game
Games.
Freddy. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. Great. Love that show.
Dude, my favorite. What I gotta rewatch Attack on Titan the first season and then watch the second one.
Attack on Titan, another great
It's
anime.
just
So
well, unless you like Happiness.
yeah,
If you like Happiness, you
so
can't
depressing.
watch it. That's how my wife came out watching. She's like, it's just sad. It's just all sad. And I was like,
it's so depressing.
I was like,
it
it's
is.
depressing, but it's really cool.
Oh, it's good.
Like, it's really good.
Oh, it's good.
Like the acting is good. The writing is good.
It is. I mean, but you can't lie, though. I mean, for those people who have or have not watched Thrones, please cover your ears for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Because...
Put fingers in your ears or pause, like fast forward.
So, sorry, Attack on Titan, did we all not feel that way watching Game of Thrones towards the end?
Yeah. Just
it was the depression. It was like
everything
he's
bad
actually going to sweep through and just take everybody out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Holy crap, that was some line. We're
going to have some thunder coming in here in just a couple seconds. So,
boom,
there it goes. So you good with your boredom busters there?
Absolutely, because like I said,
yes.
I'm like just kind of freaking out, trying not to keep my blood pressure down.
Yeah, you'd be good.
Wait for baby Keith.
You'd be good. Yeah, sorry, I get it. I got ADD
Devin's
so
looking
bad.
at Twitter because there's like stuff going on. There's thunderstorms, and we're looking at the weather and all kinds of stuff.
And some stupid stuff some other people have posted. But anyway, that's all I've got.
Yep, that's all I've got this week.
I know it's kind of a shorter episode. I know y'all aren't used to under an hour.
Yeah, short episode at 50 minutes.
Yeah, I know, right? But check us out, Twitter. Check out the Towel Rec. I love the guys. They always put out fairly recent stuff.
It's a little slower this time of year.
And that's understandable. There's not a lot going on sports-wise. So
the content they come out with is actually real content as opposed to nostalgia circle jerks.
Yep, and yeah. Not talking about anybody in particular.
We would never do that.
As always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.